go. Hey, Shadow. Long time no see. Looks like these black creepers really mean business. Let's you and me show them a thing or two. What the heck is HQ doing? Yeah, smash them up! What the heck is happening? Hey, Shadow! That's one of the Chaos Emeralds!
Sure, I missed the Year of Shadow, so I can't joke that I'm bored to get Sonic X Shadow Generations, and instead of it I played Shadow the Hedgehog. I guess I could have played this game in the Year of Shadow either if I started reviewing all Sonic games, except arcade and education games, and compilations for now. Earlier, I just skipped to this game to review it in the Year of Shadow. In that case, I could also skip to Sonic X Shadow Generations to review it if I would be able to get it. Anyways, this video is about Shadow the Hedgehog. Okay. This time, instead of Sonic, Shadow takes the main role. From what I have played, it is the third game in which a different character is the main character for a game, even for a spin of game. And that isn't all. Now guns are given for a main character, so I guess it was targeted towards at least to a little bit of mature audience. And of course, it is a different story progression, but more about it later in the video. You know what? I even debated the final boss in this game, so that means I replayed this game multiple times, unlike Sonic Heroes, for which I only completed Team Sonic story. Well, once in a while, before playing this game, I played a little bit of the dark story in that game, but still I haven't finished the story. And we did the rest of the stories. Yeah, I enjoyed this game. Otherwise I wouldn't have finished the game. Sure, I saw problems, but overall I enjoyed it. Of course, about problems later in the video. Well, probably I know some problems from Let's Play that I watched a long time ago, but nothing else came to my mind. Only the last player downloaded a complete save file to fix the final boss, and I don't think I'll found that Let's Play which I actually watched and inferred that happened. About the game from the Let's Play. Also maybe here and there I stumbled on a post sharing about problems with this game. Shadow the Hedgehog was developed by a time called Sega Studio OIC and published by Sega for GameCube, PlayStation 2 and Xbox. I played the GameCube version because I had set up only for it.
Shadow the Hedgehog. Why does that name haunt me? It's the only thing I can remember. And that gruesome image. Maria! Who am I? And why can't I remember anything? And who is this Maria?
The premise starts with Shadow doesn't remember the past. Well, some memories flash to him, but don't know what they mean. So basically, Shadow is amnesia. But then red clouds appears, and then some kind of alien creature appears near Shadow and asks Shadow to collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds, because it is only clue, then Shadow goes looking for Chaos Emeralds. However, the storytelling is linear. This time there aren't just multiple roads in each stage, but also different story roads. So based on what player does in each stage, it leads to a different outcome. So basically a visual novel road system, but with more gameplay. Well, gameplay aspect of this later in the video, of course in the gaming section. Well, the story is fine. Maybe it could be better and maybe it could be updated in the movie. Only what will be the best way to update this story into a movie? Only updating one scenario of this game. That will be bad. Then again, there isn't a story reason why there are different roads. Like there isn't an explanation why saying different scenarios will be necessary for final battle. Okay, maybe there is some situations which might be an explanation, but it is vague. So there needs to be a better story explanations for needing the two different roads. So from a story perspective, it might have been pointless having different roads, but of course, from the gameplay side, it needs to be done to unlock the last story. Maybe there will know different things, which might or may not be a fluff.
The building!
Swap weapons by pressing the X button.
These guys are monsters!
What are you doing, you traitor? Show them all how powerless they truly are.
Now the gameplay set of different roads. And of course it is doing missions for specific sites in each stage. Dark, normal or hero missions. There can be 2 to 3 missions in a stage. Like reaching the goal of the stage, mainly for normal missions, killing enough enemies of the opposite side, destroying opposite side's face gains, collecting rings and others. So yeah, now this game isn't just about reaching the goal of the stage, but doing missions. Sure, there are some missions that suck, but are manageable if they are needed to do multiple times. Well, I did already to unlock the last story in straight line, when possible, but phase 12 is like ending difference. Didn't go random directions. So that's why I didn't get bored now from playing this game. Well, of course, doing any mission a lot of times. I will get bored now from them at some point. Thankfully, the player doesn't need to all the roads to unlock the last story. Just need to do last stage of each road twice. Otherwise, it will be a pain in the ass. Like you need to replace the story mode even for only changing what you did in the last stage of the road. Like you can't select a specific stage to get a different ending. In the game, it doesn't show what road you did when you're playing the story mode. Sure, there is a list, but that is only from the main menu, so that could be helpful only to double check if you manually track what missions you are doing to get different roads. So no matter what, you will need to replace the first stage a lot of times. Now I'm talking about base gameplay rather than usual. Well, more or less it's a 3D fast-paced platformer, but missions are mixing. And more or less Shadow is the same pace moments, but instead of somersault, it is just sliding. But also Shadow can outguns and drive with weekends, which I didn't play around much, only in necessary parts, because running is fast. Sure, you could use homing attack to attack the enemy, but because the game assumes you full of guns, then enemies are L bars. Also, homing attack is bad in this game. Randomly stops homing to an enemy, which might lead you to jump into bottomless pit Thankfully, there aren't a lot of instances like that, or even just doesn't arm it or arms to the same enemy when wanting to turn to a different enemy or vice versa. So in a way, guns work like an army yet, but slows you down. The Nakan machines are already slowing the player down, so guns slowing down doesn't matter at all in this game. And of course a character can run so fast that the character becomes uncontrollable. Thankfully there aren't locations where you can fall in bottomless speed because of the uncontrollable speed. Now opposite parts at the top of the screen. It is for chaos controls. Red is for dark chaos control and blue is hero chaos control. Dark chaos control is better overall than the hero chaos control. Hero chaos control can help reach the end of the stage and works differently for both sides. Of course, shadows can still fall run similar if not the same way as how it was in Sonic Heroes, for which I had trouble controlling, mainly getting off the fall on the platform where I need to go. Of course, the rail grinding didn't disappear, for which there are easier controllers. Still, I had trouble learning them. Overall, the level design is interesting, at least for reaching the end of the stage. Some machine designs are fine, others are at least annoying, like the ring machine. Sure, when you get it, you don't drop all of the rings in this game. Now they also work as a bolt for you, which in theory could make the ring machine easier. However, when losing a life, it's a back to the latest checkpoint. So it's just restarting the stage. So it's just restarting the stage by losing another life for the ring machine, because you respond with 0 rings either way. Well, maybe I didn't need to touch checkpoints when doing the mission, but in this game checkpoints don't work just as checkpoints. You can move between them. Well, at least in the ring mission you can grind lives, only after getting to a checkpoint with other rings. However, which won't be transferred to a different route or even to a last story. And first a track there aren't lives, but you can see them only when they appear on screen or when pausing the game. A slide is controlled by 2 buttons if a weapon isn't equipped. Because Chaos Emeralds are needed for story reasons, so they aren't optional collectibles. You get pays from story progression. They are keys which you can collect if you want. 5 keys in each stage, which can unlock a door in a specific stage. But I don't know what is behind every door because I didn't unlock a single one. Touching a little bit of a foreshort scheme, I guess these keys are signs for skimming red rings. Sure, you don't need to collect keys in one setting, but still, either I can't find the rest of the keys in a stage or I don't know where the door is. Chaos can appear in boss battles, mainly because there might be more than just a boss, like regular enemies, which in theory is meant that the player can get guns. But because everyone attacks the player, then it can become a chaos, and it is hard to track what to avoid. Speaking of a boss battle, there can be the same boss fight with a little difference in the same route. Some boss battles are fun, challenging, others are just annoying, and at least one boss battle that is easier to do in an intended way. By the way, the last example was where I encountered the same boss twice in the same route. In one instance I used spin dash and jump to progress because I couldn't figure out the intended method for a long time. And only when I couldn't use the spin dash then I figured out what I needed to do in that place.
Oh, Shadow. What a coincidence running into you here.
I probably already mentioned some problems earlier, but here are the problems that I couldn't put elsewhere. I wrote that I could put elsewhere. Well, when I completed the normal route, I drove the game wasn't bad as I had. But when I started doing normal machines, then I started noticing problems, and they couldn't do the rest of the route. Like when doing machines, the stage becomes very long. The max length was 30 minutes. Maybe a little bit over it. To do a mission because I couldn't find what I needed to do. And even when I know what to do, missions still are on the longer side. There can be impolite, or in some places there seemed that there was an impolite. Sometimes either Omega attack or like dash slash and focus should work. For Omega attack causing enemies to progress at stage might not work as intended because the attack might count to the same enemy because it is a alpha. And maybe it doesn't out to the next enemy so you fall. No matter what missions you are doing, everyone attacks you. Like, are you on my side? Why are you attacking me? And the mission giver reacts to it to stop attacking the team. Come on, they started first. Well, at least they were a good source for a weapon, then they can't aim. Unless it's a player. And when there aren't any other weapon source. There was one instance they started intro damaged me, like the roach intro stopped me in the damage spot and following the intro plays out, that damage stuff still moves. And with that I got damaged. Alright, acceleration is slow. Like getting up to speed is slow from standing. Like because of it, when I stood and when I wanted to avoid damage, I started moving, but then I still get it by avoiding the damage. Maybe not really a problem, or at least not annoying as the gameplay problems. Loading screen between cutscenes. When the screen changes, then there is a loading screen. Speaking of cutscenes, if the road isn't finished and you already saw cutscenes and turn off the console, even after exiting the stage and turning the console back on, you won't be able to skip the cutscene. So you will need to watch it twice if you don't finish a road. So yeah, even if I didn't mind these problems, at least for unlocking the last story, I don't know about doing all of the other roads. Well, because there is a level select option, which really isn't meant for getting other roads, I can see myself returning to the game to do missions that I didn't do. But yeah, I understand that this game isn't for everybody, like every other game, especially with this kind of road system. Like it is worse than it is in visual novels. At least in visual novels, you can change a choice at any point of the game. Only if you have saved the game or visual novel. Or if the visual novel gives an option like that. But I only know one franchise that does that. I guess if you are really into Sonic games, then there is a good chance that you will like this game. Especially when it reuses assets from previous games, but in a good way. Like revisiting a stage from a previous game, but completely change it basically is a different stage. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like the video, subscribe and comment. See you next time.